That guy's still over there. He just strolled up as I was assembling this stuff, and he hasn't gone away. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a bone meal farm using the composters that were introduced into Minecraft 1.14. I know that the standard way of getting bone meal with farms nowadays is to do the mob farm technique and get the skeletons to drop in. The problem I find with that is, one, it can be loud and takes up a lot of space, and two, while they're not necessarily the hardest thing to construct, they're also not the easiest by far. I find that this method is a lot easier now that the composters have been put in place, because all we do is literally make a farm that leads right into them. So I'm going to show you one of the smaller designs I have that's right behind me over there, and then we can get started going through this big one. Also, I got a new mic setup, so I'm hoping that this works well. I got a boom mic stand to get my mic up off my desk, so you should have a lot less of that humming noise in the background from my computer. You're still going to get it a little bit, seeing as this thing runs like a freaking jet engine when I'm trying to record, but aside from that, I'm hoping that this turns out to be a good bit better. Alright, so I messed around with a couple different options as far as the melon farm. I know that melon farms aren't exactly new, but I tried to get the most efficient method that comes in contact with this farm, at least. The best one that I found, honestly, is the side-by-side. The one that has the 4 chambers over here works pretty well, but there's a lot more loss that comes through. And while I know there's a good way to do it, I find that this is easier and just a little more reliable to construct. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to make this little small one here, and then I'll show you how we can transfer it into this big design that's basically the same thing as the pumpkin farm I built in my last video. So stay tuned for this madness. So let's start with the baby one. So with composters being introduced in Minecraft 1.14, we have a new function that we can do, and that's to generate our own bone meal without having to go out and get it from killing skeletons. So the way composters work is you can place items in them that are plant-based, like melon slices or kelp or things like that, and based on the item you put in, there's a chance that it will up this level. Once it gets all the way to the top, it generates bone meal. We can use this to our advantage because with some hoppers set up like this, we can feed the items directly into the top, and then when the bone meal does generate, the hopper on the bottom will pull it right out and put it into the chest. So I went ahead and crunched the numbers, and in my opinion at least, I found that melon slices are the best thing to put into the composters as far as a farm goes. You can get kelp pretty quick and run that farm pretty effectively too, but kelp farms are, again, a little more intensive than melon farms, so I figured I'll show you guys how to do this method, and if you want to go on to a bigger, better farm later on, just let me know and I'll show you that one as well. So the melon slices have a 50% chance to raise the composter level per slice. Now when we grow melons, you get a handful of slices, it's randomized, but that means that you have a good number of chances to raise a composter level for every time the melon is grown and pushed into the hoppers. If we use something like pumpkins that have a 65% chance to raise the level, they are going to raise it a little more often, but it's not going to happen near as fast since one pumpkin gives you 1 pumpkin, whereas 1 melon gives you up to 8 melon slices. So we have the side-by-side melon plants over here with the observers next to the stalks, so as soon as the melon grows, the observer will power the piston and push that melon and its slices into the hopper. The hopper then feeds directly into the composter, which feeds into this hopper, which feeds into this chest. And you can see it has been running. This big boy over here is running significantly better, as you can imagine. But this, even just a small little one, if you leave this in your base as you're just running around fixing things up or whatever, you'll slowly generate your own supply of bone meal, which you can use for dyeing stuff, you can use to grow your own farms up, so on and so forth. Alright, so I'm just going to come on over here to the side and show you how to build this little mini one first. We're going to start with a 2-block center, carry it up another, and then out 2 more. This is pretty much the foundation for it. We're going to go up 1 more level and then out on this side over here. And then if you look, we actually need to put some dirt in place. Alright, then we're going to take some dirt and just run it down the rest of this way. This is where our melons are going to actually end up growing. Take some of whatever building block you're using and just kind of block in this area and clear this one out. This is where our water sources are going to be going so that the melons can actually grow. We're going to put a line of your building block back here, and we're actually going to carry that out another level as well. Alright, so then you're going to take your observers and place them facing out on the opposite ends here, because that's where we're going to be planting our stalks, and then you can run to the other side, take your pistons, and just put them in the middle for the arms. We need to run this back line actually out 1 more, and then we can go and take our redstone and run it out in this little loop like so. Grab a repeater, and just put 1 repeater running into each of the back of the pistons, and that's going to make sure that these get powered when the stuff grows. Next thing you're going to want to do, we'll put your chests down right now just so we can get the hoppers running into them so we don't have to break stuff later. And let's just go ahead and just run these hoppers right in like that. Put your composters right on top of those hoppers, and then put a hopper on top of each of the composters. And that in essence, is really all you need to do for the system, but we want to go ahead and close it up, seal it up a little bit more so that you don't lose near as much of your melons just flying out all over the place. Before we fill the cases in glass, and I would recommend using glass because it's transparent and the melons like their light sources, go ahead and till these two sides right there, and then grab your melon seeds and go ahead and plant them. And as we discussed in the last video, any update to the observers is going to push the stuff right in. I am then going to grab some bone meal real quick, and we can bring these fully up to par. I know this is a bone meal farm, so you may not have a ton of bone meal at your disposal, but you don't need very many pieces just to get this little mini dude going. Then we're going to go ahead and place in our water source blocks just to make sure that these farmland pieces are properly hydrated. All right, so go ahead and take your glass, and we're going to close this off up front. I do recommend using glass, of course, because the more sunlight the melons have, and the better they'll grow, at least is what my farmer mind is telling me. Minecraft is a little different, but whatever. And then we'll want to carry this up one more just because, again, the melons do tend to hop about when they get broken. And then that really truly is it. That is all you need to do to make this function. If we wait around here for a minute, we should be able to get a melon to harvest. Oh, there we go. It just took a second. We saw those melons get harvested. They got pushed right into the hopper right in front, and if you look in here, if we can get a good angle, you can see that they have been indeed brought up a level. This one hasn't because nothing's been harvested on this side. The way composters work, like I said, is entirely chance-based, so technically the more you have, it doesn't really work out to be the more bone meal you're going to get. The more sources you have running into one composter is going to give you the most amount of bone meal per harvest. So, oh, there's another melon. So yeah, if you have a bunch of sources running into just a couple composters, foreshadowing, then you're going to get a lot more bone meal per harvest, at least again mathematically in theory, than you would if you have a bunch of composters from just a few sources. Alright, now that this one's all done and dusted, we can move on over to the big boy over here, which is actively harvesting because of the number of melon plants we've got going. I have this one currently running 40 blocks long, which means we, by the way it works out, have 18 melon plants per side. And I've had this thing running just since I built it and then went over and fiddled around with this one, showed you guys how to make it and everything. So it's been about 30 minutes that it's been running, and I want to see how it's doing. Again, keep in mind that this is chance-based, so it could be doing really poorly, it could be doing really well. It just depends on what rate these are getting filled up at. Oh, that's another harvest. And 58 and 58. That's even, actually. That's I mean, it makes sense, but still odd for chance-based. But, so that means we're at almost a full stack in about half an hour, and that is actually amazingly good time. Alright, so this system over here is based off a 3-block center instead of a 2, just because of the way I have that double composter set up in the water streams. So we're going to come over here and do a 3 setup over here, and I suggest elevating it off the ground a block or 2 just to kind of make sure you get your chest closer to the surface, but that's just a personal preference thing. We're then going to want to come out one more and jet this guy back up to the 3 again, and then we can also extend this out one more on either side so that you have 3 on the underside and then 5 on the front row here. The outer edge of the wings here, or whatever you want to call them, is where we're going to be placing our dirt, so go ahead and grab that, and then again, you're going to want to just carry this back. I'm doing 40 blocks. You can do it however long or short you want. Just know the longer you have it, the more effective it's going to be at producing bone meal. And 40. And 40. Alright, now grab whatever building block you're using, and you're going to take the dirt line you've got going all the way down and carry 3 out from it all the way to the end. And done with that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our little 5 line of blocks here on the back, just to make this symmetrical and line up like we did over there. And then I'm going to hop down here in the middle and run this 3 line on the bottom all the way to the back. And that is going to be how we are placing our water transport system. And now let's go ahead and take this center line and run a channel all the way down. I'm doing this because I want to keep the stream of melons from each side separate. Technically, you don't have to do so, but this way it keeps more even flow and makes sure that the composters receive equal treatment of melons. Again, it doesn't technically actually change much, we'll say, but I just like the idea of having each composter running off of its own channel. Alright, now I'm going to come over here and start our water channels just so we can keep the ground hydrated as we go through trying to plant the seeds. It lasts a lot longer that way. And the way that I suggest you do this is to do a water line with ice blocks. And I'll show you how to do that super fast. You just place your water sources on either end and then go to the block right after where they end and place a block of packed ice, and that's going to make sure that the items are pushed through the water stream, and then when they hit the ice, they keep their momentum and just go straight into the next water stream. You're then going to want to take a sign and put it on the block that's right above your ice block, just on the side somewhere, and we need to put a very important message here. This is crucial if you want your bone meal farm to work. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry. This is just the way that Minecraft is. So the reasons we put the signs in is because when you place your bucket of water on this side, normally the streams would kind of meet in the middle, and that would make it to where the melons wouldn't actually go anywhere. But this way, it only flows to that side, and you can make sure that they just keep going all the way down. And we're going to carry this through. Again, go to right where it ends, place yourself some packed ice, and then your signs. Alright, so that should be our last bout of water and ice. We have the signs in place, and if we just place this water stream going right down like that, it's going to carry back to our end, and that's going to be our total water channel to push the melons all the way along. Now what you're going to want to do is take a composter and place it underneath each of these corners, just on your front end, only the end that the water is running to. And then we can take a hopper and break this block and just place that right there. And likewise, and then that is going to be right under our water, so the melons will just flow right into that right there. And then we're going to dig out a couple blocks on the underneath of these composters, place a chest, and then just shift click on the chest and place the hopper leading right into it on that side, and then this side. And again, you want to make sure you shift click so you can get it running into the chest itself. If you just place it directly underneath, it's just going to run directly to the ground. All right, now we're going to go and place our stairs, finish prettying this place up because, you know, pretty redstone builds are the best redstone builds. Can you cooperate? There you go. Jeez, was that so difficult? All right, now it is far prettier of a reception area. Something. It's now far prettier of an area to collect your stuff. So as the melons flow down the water streams, they're going to go into these hoppers. Hoppers put them into the composters. Composter makes bone meal, which goes into this hopper, and then straight into this chest. And you can see that this is the exact same setup that we have over at this one right here. All right, now let's grab our iron hoe, and we're just going to run along and do every other one, starting one away from your end. And this is just going to make it to where you get the most amount of potential growth for your melons. Had a little bit of lag there. Gee, it's almost like I've got like 5 auto farms running in this one chunk. All right, there we go. Now just go and grab your melon seeds and just run all the way back down. All right, now I know this is a bone meal farm. Like I said with the small one, you might not have the bone meal to do this, especially for the super long one. But I'm going to just grow these stalks up so that you can see this thing working a little more. Well, that was interesting. Alright, and just to show you guys that this melon farm system does actually work, we already have a good bit of melons coming in. So if you wanted just a normal melon farm, this is a way to do it. Alright, now we're going to come in here with our observers and place one facing the stalk on every single one all the way down. Alright, then we can come over to our middle ground right here and place our pistons. Alright, there we go. Now we have our observers and pistons set up. I'm going to now go and do our glass running down here, just again to keep it from losing as many pieces as possible. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and place one row across the front up here on all 5 of these blocks, and then the rest of the way down you want to go 2 up, and then for every row of pistons you have, you want to go all the way over 2 said pistons. And then on the row that you have the observers, you can go over just the 3. You could technically go 5 across all the way down, but I figured this is going to be a little more cost effective for those of you building on a survival world. And now that we're back here on this end, you're just going to want to cap this off with the glass like we did on the other end, just to make sure you don't lose anything out the back. And this is the structure 100% complete. We just need to put our redstone in now. To start the redstone, you're going to want to place a 2-block high wall going all the way to the back. You don't actually need all of these blocks here, but you're going to need to take them out in a checker pattern, and this is just the easiest way to build this, is to put it all in one go and then just take out what you need. Alright, we've got this wall going all the way to the back now, and you're going to want to take this out in a checker pattern like so. Every piston, you're going to take out the bottom one, and then observer, you're going to take out the top. This is just going to make the redstone wiring a lot easier and a lot more compact, so you can just carry this pattern all the way down. There we go, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Alright, so now that we have these cleared out, you're going to want to take the redstone and put it in a pattern like this, running into the back of the pistons and on to the top edge of the observer blocks. Now, I feel like this is a good time to point out that while technically melons do grow faster, the more options they have to go as far as a place. So if you have one melon plant with 4 open spaces around it, it is going to grow technically a little faster than if you had the one melon plant with the 2 like we have here. But for the sake of simplicity and time, honestly, you get not the biggest change I noticed with the 4 versus the 2. When it comes to the redstone you have to put into it. So this is how you have to cap it if you're going to do the 4 system, or at least a design similar to this, which cuts the light that gets into it. And for some reason, I just couldn't get this to run as fast as the 2-piece, and so therefore we're just going to go for this system all the way down. But this is complete. The redstone is all in place. I'm going to just chill here for a little bit and wait for these pistons to start activating. So we have some melons running into our hoppers, and I actually just heard the composter getting filled up right there. And there we go. We just had our second harvest actually of this one, and 3 on this one. And that was another harvest that I just heard. This one just harvested again. And so you can see it actually does run fairly quickly. I find that this is fairly effective in comparison to a mob farm just for the amount of time and materials that have to go into it. It takes up way smaller of a space, especially the little baby ones we have over here. They're way smaller than a mob farm, and they work pretty well for the concept of getting bone meal. So I'm actually going to go and sit here. These are just at 5 and 4 right now. I'm going to let this run for, I just heard another harvest. I'm going to let this run for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to come back and just see in 10 minutes how much we've got. All right, so I have been AFK at this station for 10 minutes, and this guy's back. Huh? Are you challenging me? Uh-huh. Oh my goodness. He is. Okay. Okay, come on. This way. No, don't go to my chest. Yeah, it's a cool farm. It works. Yeah. Come on, this way. Come on. Shh. Let's go. Yeah. I completely agree. Will you get in to the boat? Oh, you don't know what you've done. You've trapped yourself. I'm about to trap myself if I go into that hole. Ooh. Don't you worry. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be trapped for the good part of eternity. Come on, bring you in here. And then I'm gonna close this up on you, and you won't have a choice. And you're stuck. I'm gonna name him Video Interrupter. I'm pretty sure that's not how you spell interrupter, but it'll do for the time being, because once I name him, he shouldn't just despawn. And now he is permanently hidden behind this glass in shame, because he has been haunting me. Cool. Alright, let's see how this thing's been doing. I've been running this for the last, like, 10 or so minutes. 12, that's 36 bone meal in 10 minutes. So if I just do 36 times 6, that means we're at 216 bone meal per hour. And if you were to just AFK overnight for like 10 hours, that's 2,160 pieces of bone meal. Divide that by 64, 33.75 stacks. So you get about 34 stacks of bone meal if you were to AFK at this thing overnight. And that's just what I've observed right now with this. It could be more, it could be less, but I'd say that it's, for bone meal, at least pretty effective. You don't go through that much bone meal as far as some of the other farms, like with food and whatnot, so this, I think, is going to work out pretty well. Alright, so that is this build completely done. I actually had a lot of fun just designing this thing. I hope you guys learned something, whether it be the composters or the redstone, and if you decide to build this in your worlds, I would absolutely love to know how well it works for you with the random luck going into the composters and whatnot. Also, I wanted to have a little real talk. We'll just come down to ground level for this. A little real talk for a second here. So, I started this channel 7 months ago, and 7 months ago, I uploaded a video that was how to make an AFK vine farm. I had just built one in a survival world, figured maybe other people would want something similar, and apparently they did, because it got a little bit of attention. So, I went ahead and made another video that I uploaded 2 days ago. I know that's quite the delay there, 7 months between videos, but I uploaded another one, and it was teaching 5 simple redstone builds to kind of help you learn 5 basic redstone functions, I guess is the best way to put it. And it's actually getting some attention right now too. So I guess this is something that you guys do want to see me producing, and because of that, I figured I was going to try, and I mean try, to upload a redstone video at least once a week. This week you're going to be getting 2 because of the 5 builds and then this one here. The reason I say try is because I do have a full-time job and, you know, I'm not very responsible. So I can't quite guarantee there's going to be one video every week, but I'm going to at least do my best to get one redstone video up a week. And if that's something you guys want to see, then feel free to subscribe and stick around. Let me know the kind of stuff you do want to see in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, and if you're going to make this, and let me know how it goes, leave a like as well so I know that this is something you guys do enjoy. But anyway, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video through. I spent a good bit of time designing this thing, and I had a ton of fun doing so. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and I will see all of you in the next video. Thank you so much. You guys didn't think I was that mean, did you? I wasn't just going to trap him in a tiny cube forever. Got to give him a little bit of a fancy living arrangement, you know? And I've named him Eric. Eric the video interrupter. Eric. Eric, look at me. Eric. Eric. You anger me, Eric.